The woman who found Cross says that he got all the way to the stop sign just down the road, so I decided to walk it to see how far it really was. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 134, 135, 136, 268, 269, 270, 271, 272. That's how many paces it took me to get to this stop sign where Cross was found by someone passing by. Right now, crews are working to put out that fire, and they are using helicopters to do that. You can see right here behind me, one of those helicopters actually dipping water from Reed's Lake here. They will then fly that water back over to Fort Mountain. Gunfire between a man and deputies captured on camera by a neighbor, ending with the suspect dying in a house fire, according to sheriff's deputies. Neighbors tell me that they saw the man with the gun walking down this road in Ottawa on Tuesday, and someone called 911 to report it. One neighbor specifically tells me, "I felt like he was going to shoot me." This is the top floor of the 6-story tower. You can see right here the anchor points that allow firefighters to practice tactical rescues. The Chattanooga Audubon Society has teamed up with Circle Inn Stables and the Chattanooga Riverboat Company to clean up some of the more invasive species on the island. Goats just like Gimli are here to do just that. Right before we went live, Dane, there was actually an armored truck as well as SWAT officers that we saw hanging on to the sides of that truck that were pulling onto that subdivision. Now, we've shown you this video before of Joseph Antoinier's truck speeding through this section of I-75 North. One grandmother says that her and her family were here at the Tennessee Aquarium when her grandson says that he found an Apple AirTag in his pocket. You can see those workers right here behind me pushing that dirt around. Now, we asked how those children were able to log on to a dating app like this, even though they were underage. Parents waited for hours here outside of the Chattanooga State campus today after what police are now calling a hoax. Now, of course, emotions were high and the sun was hot as we waited to hear from police about the students' safety.
This does a lot better in windy conditions than your little consumer drone.
This is footage from the county's drone showing what the human eye sees at night. But when they switch to infrared, crews get a better glimpse of the fire's border. Employees here at the FedEx Ship Center in Dalton say that they are now getting laid off. There are some places that you might expect to see Red 40 food dyes, like sports drinks, candies, and snack items, but sometimes they might be found in places you wouldn't expect. Here at South Pittsburgh High School, one special senior is being honored for hitting 1,000 points. 24 delivery trucks were damaged in that fire, and you can see right here behind me some of those trucks with busted windshields melted down to the frame. Well, Hamilton described it as a fork in the road standing there on Pennsylvania Avenue. He could have headed towards the crowd of screaming people, or he could have gone back to his car.
Do I feel like I did something wrong? Yes. But I feel like I did it for the right reason.
Now, Hamilton told me what that reason was. You can take a minute. That's completely fine. Take a minute. You're good.
I just had a lot of people go to jail. We all lived off food stamps. And they sit in those domes, man, and they make those decisions, and it butchers people like me.
While driving on Mont Eagle, I saw this. This is crews working for hours to pull this truck out of the emergency runaway ramp on I-24 East. Now, the Tennessee Department of Transportation tells me that this isn't an uncommon sight. Now, we wanted to know why they are needed, how they work, and what the risks are for drivers on this road.
It's a treacherous highway.
I-24 heading east on Mont Eagle.
I think the speed and the grade of the curve can be a bit, it could be a bit rattling.
A familiar stretch to many in our area.
We don't want to be around something going that fast.
and one that dozens of travelers say makes them nervous.
My mom hates Montego. If we're driving from Nashville to Atlanta, she prefers to go through Alabama, even though it adds an extra hour.
Most of that fear, travelers say, is from sharing the road with large semi-trucks, like this one, captured on a TDOT SmartWay camera crossing multiple lanes of traffic to use the runaway ramp. You can see a cloud of dust form as the truck bellows into the ramp and finally slows down.
So it's important for us to understand the risks associated with driving beside them.
TDOT says the mountain has a 6% grade with 2 emergency runaway ramps filled with pea gravel.
Both of these do precede places where the interstate does make a bit of a curve to the left.
Designed to slow truck drivers down in the case they lose their brakes or have a mechanical issue.
So that deep bed of material provides resistance for the rolling motion, and then the uphill grade provides that gravitational, just resistance.
Before you even get on your vehicle, you do a pre-trip of your entire rig.
Checking lights, tires, and brakes is something truck owner Luis Poblete says only takes 15 minutes and helps prepare for driving the mountain safely.
Your truck is not going to be able to stop if you have a flat tire.
Lauren Diedrich has been a long-haul truck driver for 18 years, going up and down Mont Eagle about every 2 to 3 weeks.
I've been driving this truck for 2.5 years now, almost 3, and I still go over it every morning, every night.
Diedrich says he's never had to use this.
Either lost their brakes or they've caught their brakes on fire or something else significant mechanically that keeps them from controlling their truck.
We have 34 signs specifically to truck speed, grade, the inspection station, the ramp, all aspects of how trucks specifically can navigate through this area.
Castile says 9 of those signs are specific to the ramps itself, including this sign, requiring all heavy load trucks to stop at this truck inspection station.
The heavier you are, the harder it is to stop, the slower you need to be going so you can stop in a shorter distance.
We drove through the inspection station ourselves to see how it works. The purpose of this light is for trucks to come to a complete stop, testing their brakes. As for passenger vehicles,
Advice to the drivers is just get away from the truck. Okay, don't be on the right side.
TDOT says to stay aware and give semi-trucks plenty of space.
Pretty much if you're a car, the semi has the right of way. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. I mean, really, if you're driving, they're way bigger than we are.
We know that Chattanooga offers public transportation through CARTA, but how does that actually work for people who see the world differently?
I was born blind. I was born with something called Norris disease, which is a genetic disorder.
Justin Hurd says he moved to Chattanooga because of its reputation for being walkable. Something he says is important as a blind person who relies mostly on walking and rideshare services to get around day to day. Chattanooga has implemented some features with accessibility in mind, like bumps in the slopes before you cross the street or talking signals for intersections, but not every crosswalk has that.
So what I'm doing in this situation now is I'm listening for traffic to sort of figure out how to line up, like which direction I should be pointing.
Walking has its limitations with safety and distance, and Hurd says costs for Uber and Lyft add up quickly.
This month hasn't been too bad for work expenses, but I mean, yeah, $200 if you're Ubering like a couple times a week.
CARTA does provide specialized transportation for people with disabilities through Caravan, but Hurd says it's not always convenient.
There's a lot of people depending on them, and because of that, it's just hard for them to be consistent with times.
Justin tells me that he would like to use public transportation, but there are still things that limit him, like how to actually get directions to a bus stop like this.
And it will tell me all the bus routes, and it'll tell me where the bus stops are, which is fantastic. Now what it won't do for some reason is tell me how to get to the bus stops, or from the bus stop to the location.
Hurd says he's had to overcome hurdles like this his entire life, but now he's teaching others how to navigate a world that might look a bit different.
Even if it's not for a blind person, it's just showing like, hey, you don't think you can do this thing, or you don't think someone with this specific limitation can do something. But here's an example of it happening. Like here's an example of maybe raising the bar.
In Chattanooga, Maggie Weaver, News Channel 9.